gets knocked out. Knockout.
As much as we may want to see a Canelo against a Crawford, the weights are wrong and so it cannot happen. The fight you should be looking for is a Chris Eubank Jr. against a Canelo. That makes sense. That I would back.
Hard to say, man. I like Chris because he was the bigger fighter, but Conor put on a hell of a show last time. If he can go look at the tape and make adjustments, he can make it different. So we don't know yet.
Just get a little bit closer now. Just give him a little something to think about.
I feel sorry for him. That's what Carl Froch had to say about the upcoming rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. And he wasn't saying it with sympathy. He meant it as a warning. In Froch's eyes, one of these two is walking straight into a dangerous night, and he thinks it's going to be ugly.
Stay in survival mode, but just keep throwing them arm punches, because that's what he was doing, Eubank Jr. He was throwing arm punches, just tip, tap, 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 keep punching away, keep working away, catch the judge's eye, score the points, win the rounds, and that's what he does. And it was quite a close fight, but the right man won, and it was entertaining because he did get clipped back with some shots, but he was bouncing Conor Benn's head all over the place at the end of round 11 and in round 12, really catching the judge's eyes.
Could have finished him there, couldn't he?
And people say it's a bit wide, and you know the scorecard was silly, but we're just happy to get the right result.
Yeah, exactly.
And as in the right winner, whoever won the fight, who should deserve to have the handheld, whether it's 120, 108. Or 116, 112. You're just glad that the right guy gets his handheld. If Conor Benn would have won that, I think there'd have been a lot of people saying, hang on a minute, this is a bit silly.
Questionable.
So the right man won. It was a good fight, great for television, great advert for boxing. 60,000 at
67,000.
67.
Not 80.
From the way Froch talked, it was clear he sees this as a fight where Benn will be going all in, coming at Eubank like a man on a mission. He pointed out that Benn has been waiting for this rematch for a long time, carrying the frustration and bad blood from their first build-up, and now he's ready to explode. Froch believes that kind of mindset can make a fighter dangerous. Benn's not going to be easing his way into the rounds. He's going to be chomping at the bit, throwing heavy shots early, trying to break Eubank's rhythm before it even starts. And Froch thinks Eubank will have to deal with a storm right from the first bell.
I don't think the rematch is as big. The first fight was great. We've seen it now. We know what's going to happen. Ben's not big enough to be at super middle. I mean, Ben fought his heart out, had a right go. But luckily for him, Eubank was dead on the scales. Like doing that £10 rehydration clause I thought was out of order, but he signed up to it. But it made it a closer fight. It made it a more of a fair battle.
That's it,
As unfair as it is somebody draining the weight off and getting in the ring kind of already half cooked. He's a 147 fighter, man. He's a world
He'll go back down to 147 now, won't he?
I think he should. Go down, 28, 29 years old, have a couple more fights, get back into the rhythm. Now, hopefully he's won the British public over, because they've all turned on him over the drug testing issues.
Johnny Nelson, on the other hand, sees this fight as one of those matchups that has everything fans could want, and maybe even more than that. He's hyped about the clash of styles, the backstory, the rivalry, the trash talk, the family legacy, all rolled into one. For him, this isn't just about skills in the ring, it's about two personalities who are always going to collide. Nelson has been around enough big fights to know when the energy is special, and he thinks this rematch will carry that spark all the way to fight night.
Well, as far as I know, the agreement is exactly the same as the first fight agreement. Nothing changed. Everything is exactly the same. Now, I don't know how Conor, how Chris will navigate his way around the boxing boards of controls stringency in regards to watching what's happening, because the boxing board of control will put him under a lot of pressure when he saw things like this, and they had to pull him, because when I saw this, which was out before the fight, I said, you know what, this fight could get pulled, because the boxing board seeing this, they have a duty of care to say, whoa, no, this is dangerous. And so I know Chris was told to take it down by the said people around him because it would cause trouble. And he did. He ended up in front of the board. No, I don't know what was inside that room. I don't know if he said, oh, it was old footage, which we know it wasn't.
But while the hype builds, there's been some criticism too. Not everyone is thrilled about the rematch happening at all. Adam Catterall, a prominent pundit in the boxing world, has slammed it, questioning if it's the right fight for either man at this point. There's been talk about weight differences, styles styles not matching up well for one side, and whether this is more about the drama than the sport. Some fans feel like both fighters could have gone in different directions. Ben could have targeted other names in his division. Eubank could have pursued different challenges, but like it or not, this fight is locked in, and the build-up has already pulled in a huge audience.
Yeah, listen, I don't disagree with anything that you've said there. I just thought, coming off the first fight, listen, I said, didn't I, that I thought we got away with one. No, everybody came out relatively healthy. I know that boys went off to hospital and what have you.
Well, you say that. He went 36 hours in hospital and was chronically dehydrated.
Exactly.
So you're right.
We got away with one.
Yeah.
We got a great event. I don't think we can recreate all the narratives that came along with that first event, especially the revealing of Senior when he turned up, all those types of things. It was just like a WWE storybook, and I don't think that can be recreated. The reason why I maybe wanted to go in a different direction is because I think the stock of both of those fighters rose, and I saw genuine pathways to some serious big fights for legacy.
Eubank Jr.'s own manager has been clear about one thing. After this fight, whatever happens, there's going to be some big decisions to make. He's aware of the retirement talk that's been floating around and knows that at this stage of Eubank's career, every fight carries extra weight. If Eubank wins, there could be a path to one last major push for a title. If he loses, the conversation about hanging up the gloves might get a lot louder. The manager isn't sugarcoating it. The stakes here are massive for his fighter.
Everyone needs to remember that Eddie Hearn is one of the greatest promoters England's ever produced, but he's not the spokesperson of Chris Eubank Jr. So the retirement talk needs to stop. Eddie, some things that he says is not what. It has to come from myself, has to come from Senior, Junior, or anyone in and around our team. We've not said that. After Conor Benn, we're moving on to another big fight. Yeah, Eddie didn't want to give the fight to Conor Benn without it because I don't think he's confident in Conor Benn getting the win without those terms.
And then there's Chris Eubank Sr., who's always got a way of looking at things differently. He's been in the spotlight recently for hinting at the idea of giving his son a new ring name, almost as if to mark a new chapter in his career. Sr. has always been protective of his son, sometimes to a fault, and he clearly still has his own vision for where Eubank Jr. should go.
They fined him some £500,000 for coming in, 2 ounces over the weight. It was reported to me by Lawrence Lustig, who is a very famous photographer. Junior wasn't even sweating at the end of the fight. Dehydration. These rules are in place to save my son, to save the lives of fighters. Unfortunately, the reporters, the journalists are not doing their job. They're not holding them to account. Gareth Davis, do your job. Simon Jordan, you speak on boxing, do your job. You are not credible if you let these things happen. What you are is a jester. As I said after the fight, Conor Benn is an extraordinary fighter.
Whether that vision matches what Junior himself wants is another story, but it's clear the Eubank family name is never far from the headlines when these fights come around.
As much as we may want to see a Canelo against a Crawford, the weights are wrong and so it cannot happen. The fight you should be looking for is a Chris Eubank Jr. against a Canelo. That makes sense. That I would back.
Even Eubank Jr.'s former trainer Roy Jones Jr. has chimed in, sharing his own memories of working with him in the gym. He said Eubank was impressive during training, always pushing hard and showing real dedication. But there was one issue that stuck out, something that could matter a lot against a guy like Ben. While the trainer didn't frame it as a deal breaker, it was enough to leave a question mark in his mind about how Eubank handles certain situations in a fight. And in a rematch like this, where both guys already know each other's strengths and weaknesses, small details can turn into big problems.
Hard to say, man. I like Chris because he was the bigger fighter, but Conor put on a hell of a show last time. If he can go look at the tape and make adjustments, he can make it different. So we don't know yet.
Yeah, did you enjoy training, Chris, when you did?
I did. For the first few times, he was always like a sponge. He soaked up everything I taught him, and he came back. I was like teaching him something. 2 or 3 weeks later, he had it down pat. So I was really impressed with him. Then we got to the end, it got kind of where I think he started questioning me a little bit. So when a guy started to question you, think they don't believe in you. So I felt like it was time to move on, for him. Go to somebody he can trust, not somebody that he got to question, you know?
Conor Benn, for his part, seems like a man who's carrying no doubts. After everything that happened the first time, the hype, the fallout, the delays, he's treating this as unfinished business. Ben has been talking like someone who's not just aiming to win, but to make a statement. He wants to walk into that ring and leave no room for excuses, no debates about who the better man is. That kind of mindset can be dangerous in boxing because it can make a fighter willing to take more risks than usual, and Ben's aggressive style means those risks come with serious power behind them.
I'd like to see you calm it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just on the outside, just the movement, just steady it
That's
down.
boring though, Carl.
No. On the outside, man, you don't want to be chucking energy away and burning down the bar. Think of
It's
it.
boring.
No, it's not boring, because then you get in range and you make it exciting. I'm talking about technically on the outside, and I'm not telling Tony Sims how to do his job, but just calm me down a little bit on the outside. Little feints, little jabs, little movements, just little shows. Have a look at this, trigger him, and then have a fight with him.
Yeah.
Don't burn anything. Waste 12 rounds, man. He's tough. One thing about him he's inherited from his dad is his toughness.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a massive bang on me. I've done a lot of sparring with Chris Eubank. What do you think? Does he punch?
Ain't the biggest punches.
His punch power didn't bother you?
No. It's weight. You can feel the size in
Extra
there.
weight, yeah.
You can feel the size in there.
It's also worth remembering that the first fight never actually happened because of the controversy that blew up around it. All that frustration, all the months of waiting, all the training camps that didn't end with a fight, it's been building inside both men, but Ben especially seems to be carrying it as fuel. People around him have said he's sharper than ever in sparring, more focused, and more determined not to let anything derail this one. Meanwhile, Eubank Jr. has been through his own roller coaster since the fight was first scheduled. He's had big wins, tough losses, and moments where people doubted whether he still had what it takes to compete at the highest level. But if there's one thing about Eubank, it's that he doesn't back down from a challenge. He's got a stubbornness to him, the kind of mindset where if people tell him he can't do something, it just makes him want to prove them wrong even more. That's why some think Froch might be underestimating him.
Body, block hooks. You're here. Hip, block hook, yeah. Tap, tap. Let's have it once more.
Still, Froch's point wasn't that Eubank has no chance. It's that he might not be ready for the kind of pace Ben is going to bring. Froch has seen enough fights where the guy with the cleaner boxing skills gets drowned out by relentless pressure, and he seems to think that's exactly what Ben's going to try. If Ben can turn it into a brawl, close the distance, and make it messy, Froch believes Eubank could find himself in trouble fast.
Not for any reason, just like it's just harder, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just makes it harder. The fighters that bowl over at 147
Yeah.
don't have quite the same effect at 160.
No. It's amazing you've gone up 2 divisions. And
Like, that's
held your
mad.
own.
I'm looking at you going.
I'm a super middle.
Yeah, so he's not far off your stand.
No, he's not. And he's fought with me. He
Do you know
fought
what I mean?
George
So I'm
Grove.
looking at me and I'm looking at you and I'm going, he's not far off your
Yeah.
stand, but in my head.
He fought
I
George
don't-
Groves in the Super Series.
Yeah.
It was a close fight. And he's a 168 fighter, George Groves. And he can bang a little bit, as I found out in that first fight.
The build-up has also had its share of mind games. Eubank has a knack for getting under his opponent's skin, whether it's through little digs in interviews or just the way he carries himself. Ben's no stranger to trash talk either, and he's not the type to let someone talk over him. That's part of why the press events for this fight have been so heated. It's two guys who genuinely don't like each other and aren't pretending otherwise.
Conor Benn does have the chance to become a legitimate world champion and have a different phase to his career to what he's had. Chris, it's about cash. That's what it's about at this time. Not that he's in need for cash, but everyone wants more. So if you can get 2 big money fights back to back against someone you know you're more than capable of beating, You've proven you can beat them. Why not take it again? For Conor, it's about the long road, about the mileage, about how you're gonna feel in a year's time, 2 years' time. Where do you want to go in your career? What do you see as the final picture? Loaded, or made the decisions to take me on the world champion route and still end up loaded?
For Ben, a win would cement him as more than just a name in British boxing. It would show he can take out a bigger, more experienced opponent in one of the most high-profile fights of the year. For Eubank, a win would silence a lot of critics, push back the retirement talk, and give him momentum for one last big run. A loss for either man could be devastating, not just for rankings, but for pride. That's why Fight Night feels like it's going to be electric. The crowd's going to be split, the atmosphere is going to be tense, and from the moment the first bell rings, it's going to be two fighters with every reason to go all out.
Yeah, everything the same. I mean, obviously we had plans for September 20th. Eubank wasn't ready for that fight, but ongoing negotiations with him and confirmed his participation for November 15th, back at Spurs, back at the home of probably one of the greatest fights we've seen in the last decade or so of British boxing. Expect round 13. These two ready to go at it again, and we believe our man Conor Benn will be victorious this time. I think he took a little piece of Eubank's soul that night. It was a night where both of them had to go to the trenches. It was an incredible event, and this time will be no different. Gunning for our man Conor Benn to end this fight inside the distance and stop Chris Eubank November 15th at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Whatever happens, people will be talking about this one for a long time, and as always in boxing, the truth will be decided in the ring. So buckle up, because if Carl Froch is right, one man's in for a very rough night. Like, comment, and subscribe to Ring Rivalry for more fight breakdowns, predictions, and all the drama leading up to the big night.